This is the River Yarrow. For orientation purposes, the River Yarrow feeds into the River Ribble and the Ribble estuaries into the Irish Sea a few miles south of the River Weir, which we've all been talking about lately. So, this is a walk you've never been on before. In fact, I've not been here for at least 2 years. Cassie's 2 and she's never been on this walk. Tilly has. Oops. One of the reasons why I don't come here is because it's heavily peopled and Tilly has to stay on. Alright, come on Tilly, this way. This way. Also, at the lake over there, there's a lot of birds like ducks, swans, moorhens, stuff like that. So Cassie would have a field day. It would be like Nightmare on Elm Street. The other reason why I don't come here a lot is because I have to walk just a few miles to get here. Whereas this field's right on my doorstep. So anyway, we're going down here to film a weir. And I'm going to switch to voiceover now. And we're going to talk about the Nicola Bulley case. Oh, and by the way, my phone is only on 10% because I forgot to charge it. So I'll only be filming for as long as the battery lets me. But we should get to the weir. All right, let's go. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in this video is answering a couple of comments. I would probably say maybe 50 comments for each of the things that I'm going to address. And I've been trying to reply to as many comments as I can, but I'm getting the same ones and putting the same replies over and over again. So I thought, well, just going to reply in this video, then I can direct people to it. And also, we're going to talk about what lies beneath the water at the bench area, because I have sharpened the images that I took when I was precariously balancing on the edge of that high banking. And it really is high banking. So we're going to get into that. All right. Firstly, loads of people have said a body could not get over the weir. The reason why I've brought you to the weir a few miles from me is because that is a big weir. That is a big weir. It's got a ledge. And as kids, we used to walk across the ledge. Now, today, it's a little bit angry because we've had some rain over the last week. It rained every day last week, and then it eased off. There was a little bit of drizzle on Saturday, and then none at all Sunday and Monday, and then there was a little bit more rainfall yesterday. And I'm filming this weir on the 29th of March. So I filmed at St Michael's at the weir on the 27th of March. So I live 25 miles south-east of St Michael's on Wyre. So our weather pattern is going to be virtually the same. Yeah, the weir here is a little bit angry, exactly like the weir at St Michael's was. People have said that Nicola's body could not get over the weir. The weir at St Michael's is shallow. There isn't a ledge to speak of. There's a small ledge, but it's nothing like the ledge that is here at this weir. Nothing like it at all. It would be really difficult to stand on that ledge on the St Michael's weir and balance your way across. I wouldn't recommend it. The weir here has a proper ledge. So if somebody fell in the River Yarrow, now it's shallow. If you, let's say, fell in, had a medical emergency and you were unconscious and you were floating in the river and then you died, you're going to get stuck at that ledge. You are going to get stuck 100% at that ledge because it's a deep weir, a very shallow river, not much power behind the water. You're going to get stuck. Whereas the weir at St Michael's is a shallow weir with a small ledge, and you can just see the force of the water. The water volume has increased in the Wyre. The water volume has increased at the confluence, which is a little bit further upstream, because there is a confluence between the River Wyre, which comes from Gorstang area, and then it meets the River Brock. So there's this increase in water volume, two rivers joined together. That's why it becomes deep and dangerous. The undercurrents, even if the water looks calm on top, the undercurrents are fierce. And it's dangerous. The banks are high. And you'll see exactly what lies beneath, and why it's far worse than even I imagined. I was shocked. I was shocked when I sharpened these images. Now, people have said, well, locals have said that Nicola couldn't get past this weir because sheep have got stuck there in the past. Now, the problem with the comparison between a sheep's body and a human's body is that they are completely different. Sheep are all body with little limbs and small heads. So they're bulky. So the power of the water has to be immense to get a sheep's body over even a small weir. Whereas a human, in comparison to a sheep, is long and lanky. Long legs, long arms, and a big head. The human head is weighty, weightier than a sheep's, relevant to the sheep's body. So a sheep is more likely to get stuck, whereas a human, their weight is distributed across a long, lanky body. Now, Nicola was only small and very slim. So the power of the water needs to be much less to take her over. And if her body approached the weir head first, then the weight of her head and body combined would take her over. Now, she might get stuck, and I would hazard that she might well have got stuck before the water pressure eventually just pushed the body over. We estimated in my live stream that if the river was only travelling at a slow pace river travels between 1 and 2 miles an hour. You can go and look it up. So I used the conservative estimate of 1 mile an hour between the area of the bench and the weir. It's 400 yards. Now, there's 1,760 yards in a mile. So essentially, the river is travelling at a conservative estimate of 1,760 yards per hour. So how long would it take a body to float 400 yards at 1 mile per hour, or 1,760 yards per hour? Approximately 15 minutes. So before Nicola was even reported missing, her body could have, unless it met an obstruction, have got to the weir. Now, when we see the rocks below, you will see what hazards there is under that water, because it is horrible. Stay tuned. It's horrible. So I think it's highly probable that Nicola was unconscious. I mean, look at this. This is getting very strange. It's all beginning to look like a staged crime. Maybe it all could be a fake death. People don't want me talking about this, do they? I cover a lot of other cases. I did a video today about the Nashville shooter. Did you enjoy it? Let's spell Nashville right. So the other thing still being talked about is the amount of rainfall. People saying other people's footage has shown the river to be shallow. Yeah, because people, two things. People are filming upstream where it is shallower before the confluence. You know, recently I talked about a piece of nonsense that came out on Twitter of a Land Rover fording the Weir. And that was at Garstang, 4.4 miles away. So you can't use upstream as your comparison. But the amount of rainfall is important. So I've made this comment again and again and again. You will see from my footage from the 6th of February, which I assume you have seen, is that the river is much lower than it was yesterday, so the 27th. It's now more comparable to how it was on the 27th of January when Nicola fell in. Up to the 27th of January, there had been rainfall, and up to yesterday, there had been a similar amount of rainfall. Specifically, we had rain in Lancashire throughout last week, a small amount on Saturday, and none at all Sunday and Monday. There were photos the day after she was reported missing, and the river was much lower. Plus, I live there, so kind of see it every day and have an idea works. Well, it'll take a few days to get back to normal. Not trying to debunk what you're saying, still believe she could make it over the weir even with the softer flowing water as long as she was floating. Alright, thanks for your comment. She would have been floating. Wasn't there a water surge at St Michael's on the 26th Jan? That was reported in the media. I'd have to dig out the info, but I know that was said. As you say, within a few days, a river that has had an influx of water will go back to lower levels. So the water would be lower on the 28th and preceding days than it was on the morning of the 27th. If you have any photos or videos of the wire between the bench and the weir on the morning of the 27th Jan, that would be useful as a direct comparison between my footage on Monday versus the day Nicola fell in the river. Okay, so I'm going to direct people to this video in future. So you're going to just get this link to this video. Alright, now let's look at what lies beneath this point. This is the point at the bench. This is the point I believe Nicola fell in. The reason why I say that is because Willow stayed there, which is another big bone of contention, and it has been since day one. Now, I'm going to personally believe the only eyewitness that we have to this case, and that is Willow. Unfortunately, she won't be called to testify at the inquest because she doesn't speak human. But I believe a dog. She stayed there because that was the last point of contact with Nicola. Now, people have said that she'd follow Nicola's body down the river if she was floating. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Maybe she didn't understand what was going on because dogs lack object permanence. Now, I have talked about that in previous videos. So if you want me to do another video on dogs, then I will do. I'm happy to talk about dogs all day and all night. But I went down that little area there where there's those very dangerous steps. They would lead you into a false sense of security, thinking that you could get up those steps. The divers couldn't get up those steps. They were being pulled up by ropes. I don't know who put the steps in. They look very old. They look very very dangerous. There's no footing. There's no footholds at all and nothing to hang on to. So I went down here and looked at the bottom, and this is what I found when I sharpened the images. So that's the original, that's the sharpened version. Just look, this is a shelf by the looks of things that just drops down by the looks of it, and it is rocky with huge rocks like this. I mean, look, that was a close-up when I zoomed in. Just look at the state of those rocks. If you fell down onto those rocks, you're going to be winded at best, unconscious if you bang your head, and then you're going to slip down this what looks like a shelf. So this is why everybody's fan favourite Peter Folding said it's 2 foot at the edge, but it's 3.5 metres or 11 feet in the middle of that area. And that was on the day Peter was there, which was the 6th of February, the same day that I was there when the river was much lower. I'm going to have to dig out those interviews that Peter Folding did. So, guys, it's terrifying. But let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Stay tuned for the lake footage. A few people have drowned in here. I nearly drowned in here when I was 17. Over there. Someone jumped in and pulled me out. It's really deep. It's like a shallow shelf. It's an artificial lake from the old mill. So it's shallow and then it's just a massive drop. Yeah, so a few people have drowned. Guess what they found? Very quickly. Because they don't go anywhere, because there's no current, because it's a lake. So there's that. Cassie. Cassie. Well, they're noisy. Even Peter Folding will be able to find someone in here. Just saying. Flowers for someone who died in there, presumably. Come on. Alright guys, my phone's nearly out of juice, so I'll say goodbye here from the lake. There's a swan. Aggressive little shit swans, aren't they? Yeah, I was saying goodbye, so yeah, goodbye. Goodbye from Miss Tillington and Miss Cassie Springer.